Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conzia podcast with your host, Zahid Muhammad. I am very thrilled to announce our very special guest, John Leland, today. John is a true pioneer in the media landscape with over 30 years of experience in business marketing and nonprofit organizations. As an experienced consultant and AI marketing expert, John has been at the forefront of integrating cutting edge technologies with creative expression. John is also the founder of Creativity Sandbox Community, which is a platform dedicated to helping individuals unlock their creative potential. John's passion lies in empowering others to embrace their creativity, specifically through the use of video and AI tools for personal and professional growth. John, it's an honor to have you with us today. Welcome to my podcast.
Zahid, so good to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
I'm excited. Yeah. So, John, you have a very interesting profile, more than 30 years of experience. You have done tons of things throughout your career, started from, like radio networks to interactive TV and now AI. So, we would like to know about your journey, and we are definitely interested in the things that you have done in this long career. So, feel free to share your journey with us.
Well, thank you so much. It's so interesting to reflect back. I don't mean to brag by any means, but when you talk about, well, 30 years of experience in business, actually, I've been an entrepreneur for 40 years. I started my own company in 1985. And I can say that I've been a media innovator for half a century now, because it really goes back to just out of college in the early 70s. I started this radio network that you mentioned. And it was the beginning of broadcasting becoming narrowcasting. I called it an alternative news network. I was covering really political news about the anti war movement, and got a network of college stations to feed in news, and then created a daily report. And there had never been a news broadcast, to my knowledge, targeted at a specific audience. There was only broadcasting like NBC, ABC, PBS, etc. And so that really was the beginning of my career as a media innovator. I did a bunch of TV pilots in the later 70s, and then in the 80s was a cable TV pioneer. So that was also, again, going from a broadcasting model to a narrowcasting model. And that's the overall trend, is that now you could call it microcasting, because you have your own YouTube channel. I have my own YouTube channel. And it's the empowerment and the democratization of media that inspired me. I can get into more detail, but the the next real specific thing that I advocated for was the digital video revolution. So I was in video production, and I was writing for a magazine called Videography, targeted to video professionals. And I could see that video was similarly going to be democratized. It used to be, when I was producing for USA, we would be doing video editing in a studio that cost, ballpark $500,000. Huge tape recorders that I could barely even fit in my office here, with 2-inch reel-to-reel tape on them. And the first time that I saw a QuickTime video, this little postage, grainy quality postage stamp video, but it was playing on a hard drive, the light bulbs went off. And so I created a couple of videos. I called one the desktop video, another one the digital video, and got sponsorship from a bunch of corporate clients, Sony, and Macromedia at the time, which became part of Adobe, and NEC. There's really a bunch of them. So that, I've been this pioneer. I call it spanning the Grand Canyon gap between people and technology. So the technology continues to innovate and evolve at an accelerating pace. And even at that accelerating pace, I think the advent of AI in today's world is like a rocket launch. It's moved into hyperspeed. And the AI innovations, just in the last over 2 years since ChatGPT dropped, has been nothing short of mind blowing. And most people are not paying attention to it. Most people don't recognize how dramatically our world is changing and about to change even more so. You have to, one illustration that I want to give you, because most people don't have this experience. I'm fortunate enough to live near San Francisco, and we have Waymo self-driving cars in San Francisco. I mean, they're all over the place. This is not like some little experiment. There are Waymo self-driving cars with no drivers. And you call up an app and the thing comes and it takes you just like an Uber or a Lyft, but it works. And that kind of autonomous AI, where they call it, we're calling it agentic AI now, for those, because AI is becoming agents. And a self-driving car is a kind of an agent because it has a task: get you from point A to point B safely, and it's doing it. Is it perfect? And but I got news for you: human drivers are not perfect either, in case you didn't notice.
That's correct.
So anyway, that's a quick overview. Anything you want me to drill down on, I'm happy to do so. But thank you for your interest, and it has been an interesting journey. And I think with the AI revolution, in some ways, becoming more relevant than ever.
Yeah, definitely, John. So it's very inspiring, like an amazing journey. Thank you so much for sharing with us, because you are a very creative person. I have seen your posts, I have seen your work, the amazing work you are doing for your clients. It's
Thank you.
very, the quality of the work is so great. So I am very interested, and also for our audience, we would like to know how much AI you use, like in your day to day work. um, how how AI is playing an important role in amplifying your creativity, right? So this is often, like the question: can AI do the creative work, or do we need a human being to kind of, like get this creative work out of AI, fine tuning the work that AI is doing, like feeding the AI with
Prompting.
proper prompting and inputs so that AI can learn, right? So share with us anything on that note, so that our can audience can understand how creative people are using AI in their day to day work.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So let me answer in two parts. So the big picture with regard to our human creativity, and I like the way you said it as amplifier. I often call it a creativity enhancer. But the term that is really important, I think, for people to understand and embody is what I call, and I'm not the only one, this is a widely used term, is the human in the loop. And
Yeah,
we are the human in the loop.
yeah,
So AI by itself actually is not that useful. And without human guidance, we could end up with a bunch of junk.
yeah,
So as a marketer, junk is not useful. Junk is going to alienate people from your brand. It isn't going to really make a human connection. And as I'm sure we agree that business is about primarily building relationships, because you want to do business with people you know, like, and trust. And it's very difficult for something synthetic to be trusted. And so the human in the loop is really important. And I break the creative process with AI down into three stages. So the first part is that we humans provide an intention, right? The AI is just sitting there waiting. It wants to help. That's how it's programmed, but it doesn't know what we want until we tell it what we want. And you can do it these days pretty informally, and there are more sophisticated prompting mechanisms, but very much as if you were going to have an intern or even a consultant in your business, you would give that consultant or intern instructions. An intern in particular needs training about how you do things and how you want things done. Anyway, so it's really important to instruct it to get the results you want. Then the AI kind of miraculously does do creative work. It's incredible for brainstorming and ideation. But in every creative process, when I work with AI, I'm generating multiple iterations. And normally, the rule of thumb is you never take the output by itself. So we provide the intention, AI gives us drafts, ideas, versions, and then again, it's back on us as the human in the loop to be the creative director. And one of the reasons I think that I'm good at using AI as a creativity enhancer is that as a pretty much lifelong creative director, I'm used to giving direction. Oh, that's an interesting draft, but we want it more like this. Oh, I forgot to tell you that I want to include this. AI is happy to do a new. That's the big difference is it never goes, oh no, you're not going to make me do that again the way a human might do. It's like, great, I'm ready to do another draft. Boom, seconds does it again. Oh, that's pretty good, but I actually want more like this, or I like that idea to be emphasized. Whatever you give it your input, and
Yeah.
that is the third part. So two out of the three phases are human in the loop, and that is really essential to the effective use of AI. I use it in my own work in a bunch of different ways. So part two is very specifically, I'm pretty standardized on ChatGPT
Mhm.
because I like ChatGPT. It's certainly one of the best models, and I've got memory turned on, so it's learning about me, and that's been really useful from a business consulting point of view. I have conversations with ChatGPT on a regular basis about business ideas, but I do use it also to draft. For example, I do a lot of email marketing for clients, and I have a thread for each of my clients. So it recognizes the format and the voice, the kind of style that I'm doing. So I literally go in and go, client ABC, what are your ideas for the next email blast that we should do to their list? Here it gives me five ideas. I went, okay, I like three. Or in some cases, the other day it gave me five ideas. I sent three of them to the client and said, which one do you like? And but it's giving me the ideas in that way. And then it does drafts, which I rewrite and polish and make sure that they're on target. But it's really, easily 3 hours worth of work in 30 minutes, that kind of thing. So I'm
I
seeing,
def- yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I definitely agree. So just a quick note on the repetitions and the iterations that you mentioned for AI. So what I really like about AI, it does not have emotions or some sort of defensiveness of a human being. For example, I feel very comfortable when I ask AI to give me different versions, variations, or iterations. On the other side, if I am working with my designer and I have told her like four, 5, 6 times, then I'm kind of like a little bit conscious. Okay, do I want to say it once again, because she might be defensive, like, because she might think, okay, so the work is not up to that standard. But when you are talking to a machine like chat gpt, you can ask for countless iterations, right? So you can ask about so many iterations, and you can do the things again and again. And I think this is something which I really like about chat gpt. Another thing that you mentioned, opening up multiple projects or multiple threads in chat gpt, I think this is like one of the features I also like, that you can create a personality. Like, so this is something which is really good. For example, you can upload documents, you can give instructions about particular project, and everything that you get out of this thread, so it is very customized as per these instructions. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing these tips.
Do you
uh,
want me to? I mean, the one thing that I would add also while we're on ChatGPT is the Explore GPTs tab on the side, because there are literally thousands, I think, at this point, custom GPTs programmed for particular tasks. Since we're talking to a business audience and talking about email in particular, there's a custom GPT called Mailed It, right? Not nailed it with an M, but Mailed It, MAIL EDIT exclamation point, I think. And it's actually based on a book about how to write effective email. And so if you work with that custom GPT, it brings that intelligence. It's an example of not having to prompt it. You don't say you're an email marketing expert and da 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 da. You just like, here's, I'm working on an email about this, and it naturally brings best practices about effective email right into what you're working on, and it's free. I mean, it's like, you're not even paying for it. I don't even think you have to have the plus level. I pay $20 a month for the plus level of ChatGPT. I don't even think you need that to do what I've just said.
Yeah, yeah, that's mind blowing. Like how much you can do with AI. So my next
Can
question.
I? I'm sorry. Let me get the final thing on that in terms of AI and your job.
Yeah,
The thing that is common knowledge that I think is worth repeating is that AI is not going to take your job. Somebody using AI will take your job because the job is still going to be important. I still have to write emails for clients, but I can do it faster. And so somebody that isn't using AI can't be competitive with me as quality work that I can do in a less amount of time.
I definitely agree, John, on this note. So this is also something that I wanted to talk. Some so for me, um, getting good work done by AI, so you need some sort of, like understanding how to use AI effectively. So you mentioned GPTs, you mentioned about opening all these projects, threads, everything. So our audience comes from a background where so these are people who are in daily jobs. So a lot of them, they are, like having full-time jobs. Some of them, they are blue collar workers. They are having, like an online store, an e-commerce store. They are trying to make it work on their own. So my next question here is, do you really think that a common person is getting all the benefits of AI as of now, where we have, like a learning curve involved as well? You have to learn it a bit. So you can ask a simple question from Chat GPT, it will give you a generic answer. You also mentioned some of the stuff that if you don't refine it, you cannot use it in marketing. So how long it will take that a common person who does not have an understanding of AI tools, like a background in marketing, so how can he effectively use AI without getting, like all these technicalities? So anything that you can share on that front with us?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is to use it. Whatever, we all have different jobs and different responsibilities and different interests. I mean, I use ChatGPT in particular all day long, including for search and things that I used to use Google for or that I used to use Wikipedia for. Somebody today is March 14th. Somebody said Happy Pi Day to me in a chat. I
Yeah,
went to ChatGPT. I said, "What is Pi Day?" Boom! It happens to be the celebration of the number pi because it's 314,
yeah,
and I just got my answer right there, and it answered the question as opposed to Google giving me a bunch of links that then I have to click and go and figure it out.
yeah,
But the answer to your question is that we need to have more experience with it, whoever we are and what we're doing.
yeah,
And you don't get that experience out of a book. You get that experience, or an online course for that matter. You get that experience by getting familiar with it and talking to it. One of the common instructions that I give people is to talk to it the way you would talk to a person. And I know that that's counterintuitive because people go, "Oh, it's AI, whatever," but just do it. And when we have a conversation, like you and I are having a conversation right now, you ask questions, I respond, it's a dialogue. And you have to take AI to the next level and then if you're a business person, like you were talking about, that, might be a client of your agency that's doing an e-commerce store, use it to brainstorm ideas. I'm thinking about, personally, I'm thinking about doing a store for people over 50. And actually, I'm going to give you a real story because you and I talked about this the other day, right?
okay,
So I'm thinking about doing this kind of e-commerce store, and I had a rough idea, so I talked to ChatGPT about ideas for that kind of market, and it came back with some ideas that I really didn't like.
mm,
And but I said, I don't even remember the prompting. We could go and look at it, but I gave it some direction. I said, no, I'm thinking more like this, and I gave it more input in terms of what I was looking for. The next set of 10 names for a marketplace for people over 50 that came back were like fantastic. I
mm,
mean, half of them at least were like usable. And it's just that kind of brainstorming until you've done it and see how friggin' smart it is. Work on a business plan, work on a creative idea, work on a song, work on a play, work on a musical, just play with it. and have ideas and see how far you can get using ChatGPT or the any other of the AIs. I mean, the music program Suno, suno.com, as a music composition tool. We were talking about business ideas. I did a whole big broad thing on a webinar on tools and this thing called napkin.ai that does infographics and charts. It's just kind of mind-blowing stuff. And so that's the answer, is learn and get familiar with it, because they call another translation for what GPT stands for, another kind of GPT, is general purpose technology. So I talked about self-driving cars. There's whole new line of Alexa Echo products coming from Amazon. There's another voice tool called Sesame. Just going to the website sesame.com, just to have a conversation with a human-esque type of voice that really has a personality and pauses and is very much like talking to a person. This stuff is coming so fast that if you don't start playing with it and having the direct experience, incorporating it into your workflow, whatever kind of work you're doing, then you're going to be left behind. And this rocket ship is accelerating. It's hard to articulate how big the changes are.
Yeah, yeah. So that's definitely, like very interesting part. So I would definitely like to know more about the webinar that you did yesterday. So I have gone through the presentation. So there are multiple tools available. So some of the tools that you also use in your day-to-day work, and you definitely have recommendations for our audience as well, for marketing. So would you like to share, like a few tools with us and run us through, like how a common person or a small agency or a small business owner who is running, like an e-commerce store, can use some of these AI tools in their day-to-day task to enhance their marketing activities or get more sales?
Yeah, I mean, you want me to just, because that presentation, and by the way, let me put in a plug for my links page. It's play.com, bridges, COMBRIDGES.com. I'm going to send out an email soon with that whole presentation, and it is on YouTube. If you track down my YouTube channel, that webinar is already up there.
Yeah.
But you want me to start with AI tools, or did you want to walk down it? Because I did a whole, 45 minutes on 20 different applications.
Yeah,
Uh,
we would like that you run us through, like a couple of tools. For example, I have a list here: Kit, Circle.so, Superhuman. So I think these are a few tools that are related to our audience as well. I am definitely gonna drop the link here for your presentation for our audience.
Great, thank you. So I'm trying to share my screen, and it's wanting to do my screen, not just my Chrome the way it did before.
So for our audience,
There we go.
guys, I have sent the presentation here in the chat. Feel free to check these tools. These are very amazing. There are also links where you can sign up for these tools, and there are some discounts available as well. So feel free to check out. Some of these tools are really amazing. I have checked some of them myself, and I'm gonna use them as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so this is not This is not an AI tool per se, but Kit is the email service provider that I use. They have a very generous free program. In this document where I've put, affiliate links, I've labeled the affiliate links. I guess my mouse is being a little interesting down there. Um, so, Kit is a full service email marketing service provider. It does landing pages. The links page that I just gave you, I built in Kit. It's a very creator focused email marketing platform, and has a really good ease of use. You can build things like automated email follow up sequences. I can't kind of I don't want to, in this case, go through like a full dissertation on email marketing, but it's the platform that I use with clients. I have one client that has 80,000 subscribers, another client that has about 30,000, and there are a lot of really able features. I use it for myself as well, and for example, subscribers to my email list will be able to download the PDF of this presentation that actually I'm thinking about turning it into an ebook of the marketing stack that I use.
That would be very
So
helpful. I highly recommend that.
thank you.
Yeah.
So let's see. You wanted, so I'm going to have to jump around a little bit. Uh, I don't want to give people whiplash and moving things. So I use Canva. I use Squarespace for websites. Circle is one of the biggest trends in internet marketing right now is community,
Hmm.
and we're all trying to find the right place. And I did list down here, School, Mighty Network, Slack, and Discord. Those are just other examples of community platforms where we can bring people together to share information, to support each other, and so forth. I've standardized and landed on Circle because of the kind of really community first orientation it has. Some of the others are kind of online course first, and they add in community. Circle really was built for community from the bottom up. I also really like the fact that whenever anybody who's posting can embed a video, and right there inside Circle, not necessarily having to link out to TikTok or link out to YouTube and so forth. They also have live streaming events built in. I can access other networks. I'm sorry, other communities from within my community. I do my Creativity Sandbox community there, and it's a paid community which is facilitated. The e-commerce for that is supported, and I can also do courses. So that's the kind of Circle piece of it.
Yeah.
You wanted me to talk about
There was
the
another one,
email program. Sorry.
superhuman. I thought like that would be what.
Yeah, so that's the superhuman is the way that I use on my personal email. So not a list where I'm broadcasting to a client base or to a community, but my personal inbox. It actually uses Gmail, but it puts a whole new interface on top of Gmail where I'm using individual keyboard commands. And it's relatively expensive as apps goes. I pay $30 a month, but it saves me hours of time because I can just hit E and be deleting emails. It sorts. It has all kinds of kind of fancy features. It syncs up with your calendar. Uh, so it's the fastest way to process your email, and we all I think most of us anyway spend too much time dealing with our inbox, and so something that helps me be more efficient is really worth it. I don't have an affiliate link for that, but if you're interested in a referral discount, let me know because that's something we have to do kind of person to person. Is
Definitely.
that is that enough on that, Saeed? I give a
Yes.
taste.
So yeah, for our audience, so guys, we will drop all these links in our respective channels. So this podcast is live on LinkedIn and also on YouTube. So after this, we are gonna drop all these links there. So feel free to check them out. So John, you definitely want to talk about like the tools that are in marketing. So I think this is something that is relevant for both sides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so some AI tools. So that is
Yeah,
definitely.
the one that I really have to talk about, and I'll come back to video in a second, but this presentation is inside a program called Gamma. We talked about ChatGPT, but this is Gamma, and I could take you under the hood for a second. Is that okay, Zaid?
Definitely, definitely.
So this presentation, the simple way to talk about Gamma is to say it's PowerPoint on steroids, but and because it has a very strong AI component. And I'll show you a little bit about the multi AI image generators in just a second. But the other part of it is that it very seamlessly and cleanly outputs to other formats. In particular, for example, I developed this presentation for my webinar, but I can very simply download it as a PDF, and as we're talking about, share that. And all of these links are live. So if you get the PDF, you'll be able to go to Gamma just by clicking on this box. But so if I go out of presentation mode, just to take you under the hood a little bit, um, so now I have all my creator tools. There's a whole, for example, chart library if I wanted to add a chart. But the part of it that is kind of the most fun for me is the images.
Hmm.
So let's say that I didn't really like this gamma image. The I have options in terms of where my images come from. I can upload an image from my hard drive, of course. These images that you're seeing here are I searched Gamma AI and chose a logo. But when you get down, and Unsplash is a very popular resource for license free images that I've been using for years. Other resources, but under AI images, we can generate images from this large number of AI image generation platforms. You have to upgrade it, I think, to $20 a month. I'm paying $10 a month for Gamma. And so, for example, if I want to generate in Flux and I want to make I don't know, give me an idea, Zaid. We want to make a presentation to a global audience.
Yeah. So for
And what?
marketing, for launching an online store.
Okay, and so I'm going to say an illustration. Say presentation on marketing
Yeah. How to scale up online store.
to a global audience. This is very getting very specific. An online, good. And
That's
and
good.
I, just so we can make it square, we can make it portrait, we can make it landscape. Actually, I should go portrait, given what we're putting. If we're going to put it into this presentation. And so now it's going out. It's doing an API call, and boom,
Oh,
we have
that's
charts. I think I like this one better. What do
yeah.
you think?
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So not bad for instantaneous.
I mean,
And
you can live with that, because sometimes you just need quick ideas to like put these graphics in your presentation, and I definitely like this.
yeah, it's really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on. I don't know where we are for time.
We have still a few more minutes available, so I would like that you go through the rest of the tools that you wanted to share in terms of marketing. A few more, like two or three.
Okay, yeah. So the main image generator that I use outside of Canva, and I can switch to another tab here, is Ideogram.
Yeah,
You see Ideogram, right?
yeah, yeah. I
You
like
saw
that
me,
one.
huh?
Yeah, I can see ideogram. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I when I was doing my webinar, I said Zoom Creator Community. So it comes back with four. I could go back. And what's cool is that I mean I could start from scratch here. So these are all examples. So if I wanted to make, if I wanted to use this as an image, I can just click on it and I should be able to, yeah, there we go. And that, so I've got the prompt. I can remix that one, but let's go from scratch. Why not? We're experimenting here. So we want to do, what did we do before? Illustration of a presentation
For global,
to global audience
for Shopify store.
for
Got
Shopify store, which is good because we might get the Shopify logo. One of the things that really is a standout about Ideogram, you can see, for example, in the Blaze Labs here, that it actually does simple text. Not all text is perfect, but it does a much better job. We can choose color palette in terms of the size that I'm generating. I really like for email, for example, sometimes I do narrow banners, so I can do 3:1, but it'll do all these different portrait sizes and all these different horizontal sizes. I'll stay with kind of the standard 16 by 9 for our demonstration, and hit generate. So the tab is down here, but you can watch it come into reality. This was the one that I did during my webinar yesterday, which was about a Zoom community. These are actually some client images that I've been working on recently. This is for my creativity sandbox. So it's rendering four different versions. There we are.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool.
There you are. So you got the Shopify logo in
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, right away.
right? We all we said was Shopify. We didn't say Shopify logo, whatever. But this guy definitely looks like he's presenting about Shopify stores.
Yeah.
Another angle, and just to underscore the iterative approach, that if I like this one, but I can go here and hit remix. This Notice that I made a simple prompt and it enhanced my prompt,
Yeah.
which you can turn on and off. It doesn't have to do that. But so I'm going to change this and say via Zoom to a global audience, yada, yada. And so then I just hit remix. And sometimes when I'm working on an image to get what I want, I might go through this iterative process, half a dozen times, and come up with, like you see down below, I did a bunch of those different Candida images to get the ones I want. But so now it didn't really understand via Zoom as well as I would have liked it to. But now we've got four more versions of the guy standing in front of the room. And just to show you one other variation, which would be a little more complicated in Midjourney, which is another popular thing, I have the image weight adjustment here. So if I want to remix it, sorry, that shouldn't have happened. If I want to remix it exactly like that and just have minor variations, I can turn this up. But if I turn this down to 20% and remix it again, now I'm going to get much more wide variation on the images that it renders. But this is a process, again, where this is where the creative director comes in terms of the human in the loop of choosing the one that you want that works best for you. I'm going back. I kind of like this one because I like the way the Shopify logo is standing out here. But
I like
anyway,
that.
that gives you an idea.
Yeah. That's so cool, John. So I just to comment on that, even if you are a business owner, you are working with teams, sometimes you just need these small graphics if you want to present something quickly to someone, like to an investor. So yesterday I was doing a podcast where I had to explain, like my journey building a multiple income stream. So I needed, like an illustration very quickly. So I gave chat gpt a few prompts, and then it created, like a timeline with all the dots there plus the milestones. And that was, like enough for me to present on a live stream. So normally it takes time when if I go back to my designer and then I explain her what I want to do, and then, like back and forth in the end 30 minutes, and I got the same quality of work got done just in 3 minutes. And that really worked well. So even if you have, guys, even if you have teams, if you are running a small agency or if you are running a business, as a business owner, it's very important that you learn these tools, because these productivity tools, these AI tools can make your life, like easier, and it can help you achieve a lot of stuff on a daily basis.
Yeah, let me throw in a quick tip there, which is that one of the things that I don't think people do enough when they're asking for output out of ChatGPT, for example, is request the formatting that they want. And
Yeah.
sometimes now it does that without you having asked. If you're having a conversation that compares two things, it'll lots of times on its own come up with a chart where it puts it into columns and the pros and the cons, for example. But you can go even further than that. One of the chips that I did in a different webinar about how to automate Canva quote graphics is that you can go into ChatGPT and ask for Steve Jobs quotes about being an entrepreneur,
Mm,
and then take those and say, give those to me now as a CSV file.
mm,
And the CSV file, most people probably know, is like an Excel file with cells, but the CSV file is a standard, and you can go into Canva and use the automate feature to auto populate quote graphics and then do one Steve Jobs quote a month or one Steve Jobs quote a week. But ChatGPT will format it for you automatically.
yeah,
And
that's
so that's bad
great.
news for some of the people that have done that stuff kind of manually,
Yeah,
admin level, but it is what it is.
yeah. Well, John, really appreciate that. These are definitely great tips. I am very thankful for this podcast. I really enjoyed this discussions. I saw some of the comments in the chat as well. Guys, we will be sharing all the tools that John mentioned in our links on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Feel free to check out these tools. Feel free to check out the affiliate links which are available. Some of them they have discounts available as well. Register for these tools. A lot of these tools are having free versions available. You can test out. You can see, like how much time you can save. Test out the free version. So my favorite one is, before I sign up, I test it out for a few days, for 30 days. And if the tool is good, I am getting my work done, so I stick with that. So in 90% of the cases, if I get a free version, I am gonna take the paid version as well, and that can definitely save a lot of your time. John, I would definitely like to ask you here, so how our audience members, some of them, if they have questions regarding some tools, or if they want to learn something, you run a community as well. Feel free to share with us where these people can reach out to you, which platforms you are active. We will definitely send the links here as well, but we would like to know from your side as well how people can reach out to you if they have questions about marketing or AI tools or creativity tips.
Yeah, well, my email is johnjon at combridges.com, combridges.com. And that the web URL that I told you for my links page is play.combridges.com, play dot com, as in Mary, bridges.com. And that you can subscribe to my email blast. I send out an email every week. And those free downloads, there are a couple of different free downloads, by five favorite creativity books, and the tools webinar is linked there. The PDF will be going out to my email list. It's not posted yet, but it also will be available there to subscribe. But that's the best way to stay in touch. And I'm most active on TikTok. I love TikTok. I believe in video and showing your face, and on LinkedIn. Those are the two main socials. I've got accounts on all of them, and I do some stuff on Instagram, but those are the two most active platforms. But I love hearing from people. I love being helpful, and I'd love to come back and talk more about video next time, because
Oh,
there's
definitely.
so much to talk about. But you're using Riverside. You're definitely, I think, in the right place. That Riverside is one of the apps that I recommend. And we didn't talk about TV, but anyway, those are my coordinates, and all of those tools are in the webinar and in the PDF.
I love Riverside, John. So definitely there is so much to talk about. So the time passes so quickly. So it has been more than 42 minutes now. We are definitely interested. We will definitely do another live stream with John. So there are so many other tools that he has on his list. He's very interesting guy, doing great stuff in
Thank you.
marketing and AI side. John, we are very thankful that you shared your journey with our audience. Um, we are thankful for your time, and I look forward to another podcast with you. It was a pleasure to have you on my podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here, Zaid. It's really, I like our conversations, and there seems to be good synergy. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much, John. Guys, we will do a ramp up of this live stream on a blog post as well that will go on our website. We will send out the links to our email list as well. Feel free to check out. There are definitely very interesting tools available from this live stream. Thank you so much for joining. Take care. Bye bye. All right. So, live streaming, we paused.